HAPI, representing the concept of river valley civilization and the overflow, that ecology had to be recognized because there was going to be an overflow. But then how do you tune into the universe to appreciate what the overflow means? You read the heavenly bodies. And when that river starts to rise, the stars are in this body of the universe. And then when it overflows, the stars are in this body. That means that you can get out of the way of this divine order of things, which will be destruction and death. But out of that will come new life. And then you read the stars again, and then the river goes back to its banks, and then you can plant your crops. And then you have the birth of the goodness of the divine order. So, in essence, the economics is not a packaged process that the Europeans have given us in reference to trade and the exchange of goods. It's working with the spirit and the divine order of the universe to understand the higher level that you need to operate at.
The impact and the consequence of this is that you have the ability through these kinds of conversations of shaping a consciousness that is not debatable. And that for a long time, at least as I see our generation, we had to fight for the ability to rescue our deep thought. And so much of our work was rescuing the now. Much of our thought was about rescuing the dignity of Africa. Your generation, this new generation, the folk that are hearing this now, don't have to do that. They can stand on being African and then build from that. And so it is the imagination of what it is to be African that is being captured by these conversations. That's what's so important for me, is that it seems to me there are twin pillars. It's memory and imagination. And we had to rescue our memory of what it is to African, what greatness we did, and the now obviously is the seed of that. But there are other traditions as well that we had to remember. That's the memory part. Now the imagination, these are the twin pillars of human consciousness. The imagination is, can we imagine who we are and who we can be? And this instrument, this conversation, is allowing us to imagine the grandeur and the glory of being African, not as history, but as the now. And so that's the important thing for me. And I need to pick a footnote, is that I think our success is because we're friends, we're brothers, we love each other. And so us loving each other allowed us to push each other to places where we hadn't even thought ourselves individually to go.
I decided to be a part of it because it's the next step. We are dealing fundamentally with the economics, politics, and culture as a necessity for recreating ourselves, okay? If you don't master economic, politics, and culture, there's no opportunity to recreate yourself. In order to understand how to control economic, politics, and culture to produce food, clothing, and shelter as a necessity and security for your people, you must then understand the history that did the initial success story, and that's the Nile Valley. That's HAPI. And so for me, understanding that I'm not just a descendant of the Nile Valley, I actually am the Nile Valley participants. I am my ancestors. They did not deposit me, they deposited themselves as me. You understand that? And so having deposited themselves as me, and us having gone through an experience, Dr. Nobles taught us that we were suffering from a fractured consciousness or shattered consciousness and a fractured black identity. And so that came from warfare, from aliens that came into our ecological sphere. Now we are trying to rebound from that. How do we rebound from that? We look back to remember the ways of the ancestors so we can appraise and assess what is necessary for us to borrow from them, to utilize it now, to recreate for ourselves the economic, politics, and culture that's necessary to provide food, clothing, shelter, safety, and security for ourselves and our family. and to leave a model for our children to emulate. And so this project, HAPI, which makes the reference back to what Dr. Rosalind Jeffries called the parent people's experience at creating civilization.